I'm Blake Zaccagnino, and I'm an attorney from Buffalo, New York. And I generally, and most of the time, work on personal injury cases. And a topic that I wanted to talk to you about that I deal with on a daily basis is something called the serious injury threshold. And that is something that comes up in almost every car accident injury claim. Well, actually, in every car accident injury claim. And basically, the idea is that because New York State is a no-fault state, meaning that your basic medical will be covered by the insurance that was covering the vehicle that you were in when an accident happened, regardless of who was at fault. The law says that in order to get money, so anything above and beyond general no-fault coverage from the at-fault driver, you have to have one of a series of categories that fall within something called the serious injury threshold. And the definition of what qualifies as a serious injury can be found in New York State Insurance Law 5102D. And I just wanted to go through some of these categories with you. And again, generally what it means is that even if the other party was deemed to be 100% at fault, you can only get money from the at-fault driver if your injuries fit within one of these categories. So at least one of these categories: death, dismemberment, significant disfigurement, fracture, loss of a fetus, permanent loss of use of a body, organ, member, function, or system, permanent consequential limitation of a body, organ, or member, significant limitation of use of a body, function, or system, or a medically determined injury or impairment of a non-permanent nature which prevents the injured person from performing substantially all of the material acts which constitute such person's usual and customary daily activities for not less than 90 days during the 180 days immediately following the occurrence of the injury or impairment. And now, I'm sure that you're probably listening to this and saying, that's very confusing. And what we most often see is that a person's injuries will either fit within a clear-cut category of the injury threshold law, meaning death, dismemberment, fracture, or loss of a fetus, or a permanent loss of use of a body, organ, member, function, or system. And then the analysis is easy, which means that any judge and any jury could look at a person's medical records and look at their treatment records and say, yes, their injuries fit within one of those clear-cut categories. And that's when, and I hate to say and hesitate to say that any case is ever easy, but that's when that argument is an easy argument because your injury fits within a clear-cut category. But what we see most of the time in our cases are people that have soft tissue injuries. And a soft tissue injury is a non-fracture. That's what I mean by that. And what we often see in these car accident cases is herniated discs. And in those situations, what we have found that is needed to qualify you in one of those non-clear-cut categories that I read earlier is an objective injury that you've been diagnosed with. So, for example, herniation, any sort of objective diagnosis by a medical doctor. And to really oversimplify it, treatment over a long period of time or a significant period of time after the accident with a provider that can properly treat and document your care, and things like objective diagnoses, range of motion, limitation on activities that you have reported to them, so limitations of your everyday activities that track that time period. And generally, if you have a provider that is great in treating and documenting these cases, you will usually be successful in overcoming a motion for summary judgment, meaning a motion to dismiss your claim before trial on that serious injury issue. Or it will assist you in either making an offensive or offensive motion saying, hey, judge, looking at all of this medical proof, you should find that we fit within one of the categories. If that happens, you're gravy. Or just simply helps you prove your claim if the case actually goes to trial. So that's something that a lot of people really don't understand. And quite frankly, a lot of attorneys don't have a deep understanding of how you can qualify under the serious injury threshold. So, moral of the story is that just because you've had an accident and just because it wasn't your fault does not automatically entitle you to money in every case. I hope this was helpful.